My name is Jonathan Hargreaves, and the subject of this video is sugar. In 2017, James de Nicolantonio, James O'Keefe and William Wilson published an article in the British Journal of Sports Medicine that created a heated debate amongst their colleagues. They felt that sugar was more addictive than cocaine. But whether sugar is more addictive than cocaine, researchers and nutritionists suggest that sugar has addictive properties and we need to be getting less of it. Eating sugar releases opioids and dopamine in our bodies. This is the link between added sugar and addictive behaviour. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that is a key part of the reward circuit associated with addictive behaviour. When a certain behaviour causes an excess release of dopamine, you feel a pleasurable high that you are inclined to re-experience and so repeat the behaviour. As you repeat that behaviour more and more, your brain adjusts to release less dopamine. The only way to feel the same high as before is to repeat the behaviour in ever-increasing amounts and frequency. This is known as substance misuse. Casey Bjork of Healthy Simple Life states that sugar can be more addicting than cocaine. She says that sugar activates the opiate receptors in our brain and affects the reward center, which leads to compulsive behavior despite the negative consequences like weight gain, headaches, hormone imbalances, and more. She further states that every time we eat sweets, we are reinforcing these neural pathways, causing the brain to become ever increasingly hardwired to crave sugar, whilst building up a tolerance like any other drug. So what is added sugar? The World Health Organization has been cautioning people to reduce their intake of free sugars to less than 10% of daily calories as far back as 1989. The organisation says that in doing so, we can lower the risk of becoming obese or overweight or experiencing tooth decay. Free sugars include both the sugars found naturally in the likes of honey and fruit juice, as well as the sugar added to our food and drink. On food labels, added sugars include words such as glucose, corn syrup, brown sugar, dextrose, maltose and sucrose, as well as many others. In 2015, the World Health Organization further suggested reducing free sugar daily intake to less than 5% of calories, which is about 6 teaspoons. In the United States, added sugars accounts for 14% of the average person's daily calorie intake, a quite staggering amount. Most of this comes from beverages including energy drinks, alcoholic drinks, fizzy drinks, fruit drinks, sweetened coffees and teas. Other common sources are snacks, and it's not just the obvious like brownies, cookies, donuts and ice creams. Large quantities of added sugar can be found in bread, salad dressings, granola bars and even fat-free yogurts. How much sugar is too much? Well, according to the NHS, the average British person eats 700 grams of sugar a week, or an average of 140 teaspoons per person. How much sugar should we be eating? Well, according to the American Heart Association, no more than 6 teaspoons daily for women, that's about 100 calories, and men should limit themselves to 9 teaspoons, that's about 150 calories. Our fascination and indulgence with sweets and sugar goes back many centuries. The earliest sweet which people have eaten since prehistoric times was honey. The origins of confectionery can be traced back as far as 2000 years BC to the ancient Egyptians who made sweets by combining fruit, nuts and honey. The Romans, Greeks and Chinese made sweets with sesame seeds. And the Aztecs used the cocoa bean to make a bitter drink over 3,000 years ago. This drink was sweetened with sugar after 1,500 years. It seems as though no other substance occupies so much of the world's land for so little benefit. The obesity epidemic has spread across every nation where sugar-based carbohydrates have come to dominate the food economy. High carbohydrate foods, including chocolate and other sugary sweets, may cause addiction-like cravings. They also alter your blood sugar and hormone levels in ways like other addictive substances. These changes in blood levels can affect the dopamine in your body. We reward children with it over the holidays and for a job well done at school. We reward ourselves with it after a particularly stressful day or when we celebrate a birthday or special occasion. We add sugar to our tea and coffee, we bake it in our favourite treat, and we spoon it over our breakfast. We are truly in love with the sweet stuff. In fact, we do crave it, but are we addicted to it? As we discussed earlier, there is an ever-increasing body of research that tells us excess sugar could be seen as addictive as some high street drugs and have similar effects on our brain. Sugar fuels every cell in the brain. Your brain also sees sugar as a reward, which makes you keep wanting more of it. If you often eat a lot of sugar, you are reinforcing that reward, which can make it tough to break the habit. So why do you get a rush when you eat a midday chocolate bar or eat your chosen sweets? The sugar in it, called a simple carbohydrate, is quickly turned into glucose into your bloodstream and your blood sugar levels spike. Simple carbs are often found in fruits, vegetables and dairy produce, but these have fibre and protein that slows the process. Syrup, fizzy drinks, sweets and table sugar do not. Your body needs to move glucose out of the bloodstream and into your cells for energy. To do this, your pancreas makes insulin. As a result, your blood sugar level may have a sudden drop-off. This rapid change in blood sugar leaves you feeling wiped out and shaky, and searching for more sweets to regain that sugar high. So that midday sugary treat has set you up for more bad eating. Think you don't have a sweet tooth but crave bagels, chips or French fries? Well, these starchy foods are in fact complex carbs that the body breaks down into simple sugars. Eaten without better foods, starches can make blood sugar surge and crash as if you had eaten sugar. White rice and white flour do this, and highly refined starches like white bread, pretzels, crackers and pasta are some of the worst culprits. A diet that contains too much sugar can lead to weight gain and obesity. Fizzy drinks are one of the worst offenders. A leading brand of Coca-Cola contains nearly 10 cubes of sugar, with each cube containing 4 grams of sugar, equivalent to 9 teaspoons. And don't forget, the NHS guidelines state that adults should have no more than 30 grams of free sugar a day. Major high street chains supply milkshakes containing a staggering 19 to 39 teaspoons of sugar, which equates to 570 to 1280 calories per portion. For Christmas 2020, major coffee chains released their numerous Christmas coffee options. These can range from quality street-inspired lattes to truffle deluxe hot chocolate to the old faithful, the gingerbread latte, and gosh, don't they sound fabulous. But the sugar content for each coffee was close to 50 grams of sugar in some of the cases. How much sugar is in your slice of cake? Well, a typical serving of cake with frosting can contain over 50 grams of sugar, and so you've already consumed an unhealthy amount of added sugar to your daily diet. And as for yogurts, some yogurts were found to contain 13 to 17 grams of sugar per 100 gram serving, and children's yogurts were found to contain 11 grams per 100 gram serving, which is the equivalent of more than 2 sugar cubes. Ice cream comes in many colours and many varieties, but it's no secret that ice cream is loaded with sugar. Many varieties contain 12 to 24 grams of added sugar in a half cup serving, which equates to around 65 grams. The type of sugars most adults and children in the UK eat too much of are free sugars. These are any sugars added to food or drinks and include biscuits, chocolate, flavoured yogurts, breakfast cereals and fizzy drinks, sugars in honey, syrups, nectars, unsweetened fruit juices, vegetable juices and smoothies occur naturally but still count as free sugars. The question is there a lot of sugar in biscuits? Well, Britain is a nation of grazers, preferring to fill up on something that's quick and comforting, but often high in sugar and fat, such as buns, pastries, biscuits, and other cereal-based foods. Typical sweet offenders are the likes of iced cakes, chocolate-coated biscuits, and frosted cornflakes. The figures speak for themselves. Fast food is typically very poor in terms of nutrition. According to a study paper in the journal Health Promotion Perspectives, fast food contains various substances that are generally unhealthy. It's high in sugar, salt, and saturated or trans fats, as well as many processed preservatives and ingredients. Added sugars should make up less than 10% of healthy daily diets. That's about 11 teaspoons if you eat 1800 calories a day. Some experts recommend even less than that, 9 teaspoons or 38 grams per day for men, and 6 teaspoons or 25 grams for women. So bear in mind a single 12-ounce can have 39 grams, which is about 9 teaspoons of sugar, close to a day's worth by any measure. A tablespoon of maple syrup has 52 calories or 12 grams of sugar and 13 grams of carbohydrates. So yes, there is sugar in pancake syrup. Even if your weight is already healthy, cutting added sugars can mean better nutrition, especially if you make it a point to replace those calories with whole foods like fruits, vegetables, nuts, fish and whole grains. These foods have more of the nutrients that your body needs to repair and protect itself, and because they have fibre that helps your body absorb sugars more slowly, your blood glucose levels will be more stable. Let's take a look at how we can retrain our taste buds. We don't need as much sugar as we think we do. In fact, we can train our taste buds to enjoy things that aren't as sweet. Try cutting out one sweet food from your diet each week. For example, pass on dessert after dinner. Start putting less sugar in your coffee or cereal, and over time, you will lose your need for that sugar taste. You don't have to give up on sweetness, just get it from a different source. Try fresh berries or pureed fruit on oatmeal instead of sugar. Explore fruit that's dried, frozen or canned, although without too much added sugar. A glass of low-fat milk or low-sugar yogurt can help. If you make small, simple changes to your diet, it's easy to keep them up. Start by eating more fruits and vegetables. Drink extra water. Check food labels and pick those that don't have a lot of sugar. Cut out a little bit of sugar each week, and after a few weeks, you'll be surprised at how little you miss it. A dietitian may advise patients to choose foods that are lower in carbohydrates and sugar. They may also recommend foods that help control blood sugar spikes. An avocado meets both requirements. Some of the most common sugar addiction symptoms may include the likes of headaches, lethargy or feeling tired, cravings, muscle pain, nausea, bloating, and even insomnia. In most cases, these symptoms intensify after 24 hours. The best way to give up sugar slowly is by cutting back a little at a time. Fibre helps fight a sugar itch in many ways. First, it keeps you full. High fibre foods also give you more energy. Because they don't raise your blood sugar, there's no hungry crash afterwards. Choose fruits, vegetables and whole grains, or smear some peanut butter on an apple for a protein-fibre combo. Can you beat your sugar habit by quitting cold turkey? Well, some sugar detox plans urge you to avoid all sweets. That means all fruit, dairy and refined grains. The idea is to purge your system of sugar. Diet changes like this are too drastic to keep up. Changes that you can do only for the short term mean you'll fall back to your old habits. So can artificial sweeteners help? Well, some experts say that sweeteners are making us crave even more sugar, and if so, we need to look elsewhere for that sweet taste. We should also limit the amount of healthy sugars. Honey, brown sugar and cane juice may sound healthy, but sugar is sugar. Whether it comes from bees or sugar cane, it can cause your blood sugar to rise. Honey and unrefined sugars are slightly higher in nutrients, but their calories still count. Instead of sugary fizzy drinks or sugary squash, we should go for water, lower fat milk, or sugar-free diet or no added sugar drinks. While the amount of sugar in whole or lower fat milk is the same, choosing lower fat milk reduces your saturated fat intake. Even unsweetened fruit juices and smoothies are sugary, so we should limit the amount you have to no more than 150 ml a day. And if you prefer fizzy drinks, how about trying diluting no added sugar squash with sparkling water? And if you take your sugar in hot drinks or add sugar to your breakfast cereal, maybe we should gradually reduce the amount until we can cut it out altogether. People who have more added sugar in their diets are more likely to have diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, liver disease and other serious illnesses. You may be able to cut your risk for these conditions if you eat less of it, but it's not clear whether the problem is added sugar itself or just the extra calories. Scientists are still trying to answer that question. Eating protein is an easy way to curb sugar cravings. High protein foods digest more slowly, keeping you feeling full for longer. Protein doesn't make your blood sugar spike the way refined sugars and carbs do. Pick proteins like lean chicken, low-fat yogurt, eggs, nuts or beans. In our quest to reduce our sugar intake, a recommendation is that we seek out hidden sugar. Sugar can hide in foods where we least expect it. Although they don't seem sweet, ketchup, barbecue sauce and pasta sauce can have loads of sugar. So can reduced fat salad dressings, bread, baked beans and some flavoured coffees. Get into the habit of reading labels. Filter out high sugar foods before they hit your shopping trolley. Sugars are listed under the total carbohydrates heading on nutrition labels. Until recently, you might have had to guess if these were added sugars. Total calorie count is also important for good health. Too many calories are bad for you, whether from sugar or anywhere else. Exercise can help wipe out those sugar cravings and change the way you eat in general. You start to feel better and want healthier foods. Do what you like, such as walking, riding your bike or swimming. Start out slow and work toward at least 150 minutes spread throughout the week. Sugars are the primary food source for the bacteria that grows in your mouth and causes tooth decay. That can lead to cavities and more serious infections. It may be worse if you don't brush and floss every day. Cutting back on sugars, especially added sugars in drinks, could help slow or stop the decay. Adults should have no more than 30 grams of free sugars a day, roughly equivalent to 7 sugar cubes. Children aged 7 to 10 should have no more than 24 grams of free sugars a day, equivalent to 6 sugar cubes. Children aged 4 to 6 should have no more than 19 grams of free sugars a day, equivalent to 5 sugar cubes. Before we move on, I'd like to do a quick summary of what we've learned so far. We've looked at the possibility that sugar is addictive, that sugar is in everyday foods and in large amounts, how we can overcome our sweet tooth, and what the recommended levels of sugar are in men, women and children. There have been hints at the impact on our health, and that's something I'd like to focus on now. Sugar itself doesn't cause diabetes, but lots of sugar splurges can point you there. Too much of anything, including sugar, can pack on the pounds. Heavy bodies may have a harder time using insulin, the hormone that controls blood sugar levels. When your body resists insulin, blood sugar and your risk of diabetes can go up. 1 in 10 people over the age of 40 in the UK are now living with a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. The new figures show that there are 3.8 million people living with a diagnosis of diabetes in the UK, of which 90% have type 2. There are almost 1 million people living with type 2 diabetes who don't know they have it because they haven't been diagnosed, bringing the total to 4.7 million people. By 2030, it's predicted this number will rise to 5.5 million. The dramatic increase in obesity rates is the main reason behind so many people living with type 2 diabetes in the UK. 3 in 5 adults in England are overweight or obese, and whilst not every case of type 2 diabetes is caused by excessive weight, it is the single greatest risk factor for developing the condition. Age, family history and ethnicity can also contribute to someone's risk, with people of African, Caribbean, Black African or South Asian descent 2 to 4 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes than white people. We've looked at the link between sugar and diabetes, but how does sugar fit in with the current obesity epidemic? I've tried to demonstrate in this video that excessive unhealthy food and sugar-sweetened soft drink consumption has been linked to weight gain, as it provides a major and unnecessary source of calories with little or no nutritional value. I'd like to share with you some government statistics relating to obesity. It's estimated that overweight and obesity-related conditions across the UK are costing the NHS over £6 billion each year. More than half of UK adults are classed as being overweight or obese. That's over 35 million people. The NHS spent over £8 million on Orlistat in 2020 in England, and orlistat is prescribed roughly every 2.5 minutes in England. 1 in 5 UK adults wants to lose a lot of weight. More than 4,000 people a day search online for ways to lose weight fast. More than 1 million people were admitted to hospital with obesity-related problems in 2019-20, and 3/4 of hospital patients receiving treatment for obesity were female. In 2018, the government levied a tax on sugar, but more recently, ministers are being urged to levy a £3 billion tax on sugar and salt as part of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to break Britain's addiction to junk food and cut meat consumption by nearly a third and help tackle climate change. The current government's view is this would be a tax on hard-working British people, and there is no possibility of it in the near future. So there we are, sugar, it's everywhere. It's been linked to weight gain, the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, depression, skin aging, cellular aging, energy levels, fatty livers, dental health, dementia, and gout. But it seems that we can't do without it. Is it addictive? I shall leave that to you. As the video plays out, there'll be household names that will pass in front of you with their sugar cube content. Thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you all soon.